the the nature of the tax break worked was that I am Roddy Flynn. I decided I'm going to invest. I think the most I could ever invest was 31,250 euros into a production. And the incentive for me to do that was, normally if I had earned that much money, I would have to have given away something like 42% of that to tax. And if I put it into the film investment, it basically meant that 42% I get to hang on to as long as I promise I'm going to put it into the film. But I'm still putting the rest of the money at risk, 58%. So there was a kind of a, how do you convince people basically to get to risk that 58%? And that's where the pre-sales came in. So the pre-sale covered more than 58%. So in a way, I was guaranteed to end up better off than I would have if I hadn't made the investment in the first place. And in a way, I don't mind what happens to that other 42%, because as long as I'm getting more than 58% back, I'm better off than if I hadn't made the investment in the first place. The question is, what happens to that other 42%? And it doesn't all go to the production company. It basically got split three ways. One part of it went to me, not a huge amount, but maybe €1,000, all right, so which is grand, great. I haven't had to do anything. Some of it will go to the production company, and some of it will go to the financial intermediary, like the accountant firm or whatever it was that set the thing up in the first place. So you've got something which is costing the revenue commissioners, the central exchequer, X amount of money, but is only bringing X minus my cut and the cut of the accountants to the actual production. And the revenue commissioners looked at that and complete, we're very uncomfortable with this and consistently complained about it. And eventually in 2015, the Minister of Finance, who was then Michael Noonan, said, look, we're going to keep the tax break in place, but not this one, because this is just inefficient. It would actually be easier for us just to write a check to the film companies for the amount that they're actually getting out of Section 481, as it was then called. It was called Section 35 up between 1987 and 1997, and then becomes Section 481. There's a consolidation of the Finance Acts in that year. And that essentially is what happened since after 2015. So Section 481 still exists, but it's now called a tax credit scheme. And what that basically means is that a production company can, at the end of each year, ask that it can write off its investment in a given film against its corporation tax bill. So the production company that is making film, let's say, has made profits and it owes corporation tax of 4 million or something. It is able to hang on to a certain amount of that should be the same sum that they've actually raised as a Section 481 investment in the film. Most Irish production companies won't earn anything like those kind of profits. They'll actually, so in most cases, the Section 481 investment will exceed their profits, which raises a problem. So how do you compensate somebody based on corporation tax? And what happens in that case is the revenue commissioners literally write them a check and say, here's the money that we would have given back to you if you'd earned that much corporation tax in the first place.